government officials, senior Republican national level, coming and speaking with Brenna Byrd, with other Republican candidates. What do you make of all of this national attention on the fair from the Republican Party?
Well, people always love coming to the Iowa State Fair. I don't know that people need all that much of an excuse. And of course, there are always national figures coming to help out candidates, and there's always like caucuses probably working in the background too as well.
Brenna Byrd has used part of her soapbox to criticize you and your stance on voter ID. Can you respond a little bit about, again, where you stand on voter ID and kind of respond to her?
Well, I intend to force Iowa law to make sure that eligible voters are able to vote. What is that?
You would enforce the voter ID law.
Right, that's the law that's on the books. Absolutely. I mean, that's the job of the Attorney General, is to enforce existing state laws.
So were you in the legislature when the bill passed?
I'm sure that I voted against one of those bills at some point in time. I remember at the time my attitude simply was voting is a fundamental right, so that's probably why I would have voted against it back in the legislature.
When you've called for creating a division in the Attorney General's office on combating wage theft, when I asked Brenna Byrd about that earlier this week, and she said those are mostly federal violations and the federal government would mostly enforce those wage laws.
Well, I mean, look, the FLSA is federal law, and the U.S. Department of Labor Wage and Hour Division does have a division which does that, but Iowa Code Chapter 91A is its own statute, Iowa law, that I've been utilizing for years and years and years and years. I mean, what I just referred to, representing hospital workers in Iowa City who were paid systematically illegally late. There was no federal law violation. There was purely state law there. So there's a huge role for state government and under state law to take on a $900 million a year problem.
How do you approach voters to get them thinking about your race specifically, so they're not just, when they get to the AG box, it's not do I vote Democrat or Republican? How do you get voters thinking about your specific candidate?
Right. Well, I'm talking about some of the things that are important to me. I mean, you probably haven't heard many candidates talking about wanting to go after corporations that steal wages from workers' paychecks. That's something that I care passionately about, and maybe it's a little bit different. So that's something that I talk about with some frequency. And with Iowa's cancer crisis, we need to be talking about, Iowans need to hear about actual things that we can do to go after corporate polluters that break existing law, and like going after real penalties, real fines to deter that bad conduct. That's, I think, something that Iowans are very, very concerned about cancer rates for very good reason. So that's something people should be talking about.
Should it be at the discretion of the Attorney General negotiating the settlement to set that rate, or should there be legislation that set up a schedule? You know what I'm talking about? Those particular cases.
Well, sure. I mean, every case is fact specific, and so there's a myriad of facts, and that's why I don't know that. Look, the legislature is going to do what the legislature is going to do, right? But I think it makes sense for not just the prosecutor, but also for a court to weigh the particular facts, in any situation where there's emissions of cancer-causing toxins, or a spill, or violating the promises that they have made to the state of Iowa with their permitting as an opposed vote.
A strange question. Senator Bisignano has for years tried to get the Iowa Workforce Development Agency to hire more people to pursue wage theft. The division you're envisioning, would that work in concert with that? How would that function?
Right. We're planning to create a small unit that will work within state government, but also work with private attorneys, with nonprofits, with the labor movement, and working with local law enforcement enforcement as well. I mean, there are some situations where there are criminal sanctions. For example, it's a felony to not carry work comp insurance. And Rachel Zimmerman Smith in Johnson County was the first prosecutor, at least this century, to bring that type of charge. Or things like doctoring a worker's time card. I mean, there are some areas where there's a criminal element too. So working, and trying to educate local law enforcement, local county attorneys to work with them as well. That's also a big piece of it.
But it seems like that's reporting by people who've been affected rather than having an agency maybe use AI to go through documents.
Well, certainly we want to hear from Iowans. I mean, we want to hear directly from Iowans. I want the office to get intakes, to hear real people's stories. Absolutely.
Tom Miller joined several dozen multi-state lawsuits challenging Trump administration policies. Obviously, Brenna Bird has put a lot of her office's focus into either challenging Biden administration policies or defending Trump policies. What do you feel like is the right amount of work that the office should be doing on either defending or challenging federal government policies?
Right. Look, I think I told the Cedar Rapids Gazette a while back that I'm not running for Attorney General because I want to sue the government every 10 minutes. But I certainly recognize that there are times when there is a real threat to Iowans or a real harm which Iowans have suffered, that it's appropriate to take legal action. But I really do want the office a bit more focused on Iowa law, on helping regular Iowans than getting into political lawsuits like that. But I mean, because that's, I think 4 years ago, one of the things Bird promised is to sue the Biden administration, and I think that it's very foreseeable if she wins another term and Rob Sand is governor, she'll file a suit against Rob Sand at every opportunity.
Would Attorney General Willems' office have joined the lawsuit against California's ag requirements for animal welfare regulations? Yeah.
I mean, I would take a look at it, but I'm just not entirely sure. I'm somewhat familiar with the facts there, but it's not. I will take a look to see if Iowans are being directly impacted or hurt, but it's not where I want to focus in my office. It's not the sort of thing that's right for me to run for office.
What do the last 74 days of your campaign look like as we're getting closer to the election?
Well, I'll be on the road. As the candidate, I don't really have a great handle on my schedule more than about a week out, but we'll be traveling quite a bit, trying to meet and win voters everywhere we possibly can.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.